Hello, my name is Grian, and today I'm doing something very special and close to me. I'm going to be making my brand new house in Minecraft. First, let's take a look at the block palette that I'm going to be using. They are all textured blocks, mainly because the blocks that I need don't exist, so I've had to make my own to ensure that this is as accurate as possible. And the first thing that I need to do is define the scale of this build. A 2-block high Minecraft door simply isn't big enough for what I want to do with this build. I want to make this as accurate in proportion to my real house as possible. Now that's a little bit awkward because my house hasn't yet been built. It's actually in construction, but I still have some pictures of exactly what it will look like to compare to at the end of the video. So it's a bit weird that I'm making my house in Minecraft before it's actually going to be made in real life. So using the reference picture that I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be replicating every single feature, including my favorite one, which is this porch that goes over the top of the front door. It has this absolutely lovely feature front. But before I continue this build any further, I want to mention that this isn't some massive YouTuber house. This is a fairly normal suburban house in the heart of England, okay? This isn't some mansion. It's not a £1 million house. This is a normal house for a normal guy, okay? So let's continue. Now that we've got that really nice front porch, it's time to work on the rest of the walls. Now I built this in a very strange way. I started with the door to define the scale and then started building everything else in proportion. If I had tried to do what I normally do, which is a foundation layer, it's very likely that I would have got the scale wrong, totally wrong, and would have to redo a lot of it. So what I decided to do was make the window first of all things to make sure that I could get the right amount of glass in, and then from there take it and build it up to the top and work out the rest of the proportions from there. I also tried to give it some texture, but I later removed that because I feel like it didn't fit and it wasn't on the original. There's a lot of guttering there just to mimic what is in the actual house. Obviously it's too detailed to put guttering round the lip of the roof, so that's not possible, so I've just had to leave white staircase there instead. The side of this house may seem very simple, and indeed just one big flat wall full of brick. That's because it is, and it's quite common on British houses. The beauty in this house definitely lies on the front face. But now that we've defined how deep it goes, we can work out the rest of the dimensions by making it completely symmetrical down the middle. Hopefully that makes sense. So what we need to do now is lay the foundations, which is normally how I would start a build, but this is a bit of an odd one because I have a reference picture that I'm desperately trying to get as accurate as possible. Now I need to talk to you about the windows really quickly. In Minecraft, 1 block is your minimum on making something thin. So when you're making windows, if you want to have a white outline, you have to sacrifice 2 blocks. So that makes your windows look really chunky. So when you see these windows on these houses, there does look like there's less glass than the white surrounding plastic. That's because I'm just limited by the size of this house, and now you see why I had to go so large. So now I just need to mimic the rest of the rooftop that we did on the other side. It's fairly simple from this point. There's a lot of filling in with my unique tile blocks and the brick blocks. If you saw this without the texture pack, I think you'd probably throw up because that's per block that I'm using. I've just made it nice and grey. So the windows we are adding in are identical to the ones on the right hand side, and it's really starting to come together how this house looks from the front. And remember, at the end of the video I will show pictures of this house in its completed state so that you can compare it. I also used my trick that doesn't exist in Minecraft to add half slabs attached onto the side. Now they aren't in Minecraft, as I just said. They are actually retextured pistons that just attach and rotate as I place them, so don't think that they exist in Minecraft just yet. One can still dream. I just need to fill in the back of this house now. I don't actually have a reference picture for the back, but I do know what it looks like from the planning, so you're probably gonna have to just trust me that I'm getting this right. But seeing as all of the beauty of this house pretty much lies on that front face, that's what we're going to be comparing later. Anyway, let's fill this in all with brick, which did take an awful long time. On the back of my house, there's actually like this little extension bit, so thank goodness this isn't just one big flat wall, because it'd look even worse in Minecraft than it does in real life. And in real life, the back of my house is not the most attractive thing in the world. On the side, we've got another bland wall, which we just added that little bit of half slab attached to the wall. We have a few windows on the back that mark the 2 back bedrooms, a bathroom, the kitchen, and the living room, all of which are fairly similar to each other. They just differentiate in size ever so slightly. So I'm afraid the back of the build is really not going to be nearly as interesting as the front. Brick houses in England do tend to look like this. You may remember Privet Drive from Harry Potter. That's actually fairly accurate to what houses look like. Unless you live in a house that's more than 100 years old, it probably looks something like this. You may have noticed that I put some glass on the little roof on this outcrop. That's because I've got these absolutely beautiful Velux windows that give us loads of natural light into the kitchen. Now, I would do an interior to this house, but I don't have an interior in real life to build. I know what the exterior looks like, and I know the shapes of the rooms, but there is no furniture. There's nothing to build, so to speak. So for now, I'm afraid it has to be the outside. Maybe if you guys want me to, I can come back and do the interior once I've actually moved in, and I could even do a little side by side as new furniture comes in. I could build the new furniture in this house. Anyway, I'm just adding in all of the extra windows. The smaller one is for the bathroom in the middle, and those 2 at the top are for the bedrooms, and we've got big French doors down there for the living room. So it all coming together now. I'm also going to add a sandstone pathway that wraps around the house. And we're actually coming towards the end of the build. There's only a few finishing touches that we need to make. So as you can see, the back of the house isn't perhaps the most attractive thing, but it is realistic, and that's the main thing here. This side is completely flat and void of windows, as is on the design. The front, however, is actually pretty good looking. It's got some nice hanging baskets, it's got a nice pathway, and it's got that adorable porch with the roof over the top. It's all nice and symmetrical, and I'm just going to add a garden either side on the front of it to really set the scene of this build. If only gardening was that easy in real life. It will probably take me a lot longer to get something sorted there. My house doesn't even come with grass. It's just an empty shell. But now it's time to compare. What do you think? How close are they? Now remember, the roof color is different. This is drone footage of a house near mine. This is not my house. But it's exactly the same design, so I want to know what you think of it. Is it close? Is it not? Now remember, of course, there are some color changes with the brick and the roof, so do bear that in mind, but I'm talking about the actual design of the house. Things like the side here will always be one big red block, because that's what it is on there. Now, I obviously didn't get enough footage. I didn't go around the side of houses because that's a bit of an invasion of privacy, but I did get enough for you to hopefully form some kind of judgment on this house. So what I want you to do now is to rate what I've done out of 10. Is it a 1 out of 10? Is it a 2 out of 10? Maybe a 3 out of 10? If you remember my original one where I built my parents' house in Minecraft, which I did just name my real life house, lots of people scored me quite highly. So it's more about accuracy on this one. The house isn't the most attractive thing in the world, but it's my house. And I have to thank you guys so much, because your support, in part, has helped this happen. And I don't mean this video, I mean being able to get on the property ladder in my country is very, very difficult. It's a very expensive process, and to have got a house as nice as this with your support is the greatest gift I could ever have, and I'm so, so grateful for it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and goodbye.